should be able to, you can edit all the fumbling I do out if you need to, but yeah, totally fine.
I'll be kind to us both.
And before I completely take over, and I know these things, the Zoom meetings can be, it's hard to know when, you know, if you say, do you have any questions? And then who knows who to speak, because you can't look around the room to see who's gesturing to go first. But are there any questions that you were given, or that I could talk about, maybe instead of rambling about something that makes no, you know, has no relevance?
Honestly, I'm afraid we weren't that prepared for you, but I know what we can do. We can turn on the chat, and as people have questions, we'll kind of mute everybody else, and they'll put in chat questions, and I'll feed those to you, so you don't have to watch the chat.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, that sounds perfect. That way, if I'm even in the middle of it, if you want to do that, that's fine, because I can shift directions, because I know we don't have a lot of time, and a lot has happened.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll start now, I suppose. So you know who I am now. I do work for Crosstown Arts, running their maker space, which is also attached to their artist residency program. If anybody has any questions about that too, as the club, you can also, you know, email me, or we can talk about that another time. This project came about because on March 13th, Crosstown shut down the same day that the schools did. So we were told we'll be back April 1st, you know, and at that time we were all naive and thought, yeah, that sounds great. But it didn't happen that way, of course. So this project started out as a 2-week project that I thought, yeah, this will give me something to do. I'll start that. And now here we are 2 months later, almost. What is it, the 5th? So, you know, 7 weeks later. And I have, just to give you some stats, I have shot a minimum of 12 to 15 houses a day, sometimes 20 houses a day, or dwellings rather, because some are apartment buildings and complexes, for 7 weeks. I have taken one day where I only shot 2 houses. So I am up to over 600 houses at this point that I've shot. So that has been what I've been doing every single day. And I shoot until, usually now I'll shoot from noon to 6, and I can get 12 or 13 houses in, and then come home, eat dinner, and, you know, ask the kids how their day was. And then I'll edit the photos until about 12, 11:30 or midnight. And then I'll go to sleep and, you know, have some time in the morning to maybe do some stuff. So I average 12 a day, and I edit about 6 a day. So I'm way behind on the editing part. So at this point, if I post an image on social media, it's one that I took almost 2 weeks ago. There's about 140 houses shot and not edited yet. So the editing is way behind the shooting at this point. And I had to just let that go because there was no way. When it comes to, so they're 30 minutes. I have a 30-minute slot for each person. About 15 minutes of that are shooting. And then, you know, I have to have time to get to the next house. So my wife has been taking in all the scheduling orders, I guess you'd call it. So we made a Google form, which you just said, just basically had what's your name, what's your address, what's your email, and, you know, what's the best time of the week and what's the best day of the week and time that works for you. And then she had to take that over because I couldn't do the shooting, editing, and the scheduling. It was just out of control. So what happened without her figuring that system out. So people order, they take we get their information, and then she schedules it by zip code and when people are available. So I might spend the entire day in Cordova. If we have enough people in the Cordova, Collierville area, I'll just spend the day there, or in Hernando or Olive Branch or Millington and so forth. So I've been from Hernando to Atoka and everywhere around. So I guess I'm going to share the screen now to give you let's see if this works.
Yes.
Okay, so now I can minimize that, okay, and shut this down. So the way I work is I shoot every day. I don't know if that's okay, if this is part of what you might want to know, some technical stuff, or if you just want to, I'm going to shoot you some photo. So these are all, I've got last night was 591 down here. So that was the last one I did. So I just number them instead of putting them in alphabetical order, because these days you can just search for a name and it'll pop up anyway in your hard drive. But so today's hasn't been logged in yet. So that'll be 13 plus 591. That's what I'm at. I think I shot 13 today. And each one of these are the ones that haven't been edited. So from 406 to 591 plus today, those are the ones that I still need to edit. And I will go into it's just the person's name. I will go through all the pictures I've taken and I will look through them. And if I see one that I like or I think fits what I need to do, I put a red tab next to it. So here is just ones that were taken. I'm gonna minimize it real quick. So these are on April 20th, and I'm gonna edit these tonight, and then I just kind of go through them. And you know, these are a little more unusual because you're like peeping in somebody's bedroom. But she was like, I really want a picture in here, and then so these are the unedited versions of what they look like straight out of the camera, and they don't look bad. But sometimes I do go through them and like take out shadows or straighten things up or do some basic editing to these. And you can see over here, this little black bar, that is my strobe light that's leaning up against a window over here on this side of the house, which is lighting her up inside the room. So sometimes I let that show through as well, like it does in the image.
Jamie?
Yeah.
You mentioned that folks put in kind of an order now. Is this becoming like a true portraiture session that you would traditionally hold in your studio or in a setting outside?
Yeah, no, this is definitely having the Google form to sign up was completely just to let everybody easily log in and get on the list. So right now there's over 500 people waiting to be photographed. And those are, all of these are 15-minute shoots. I don't spend a lot of time at each place. So every picture you've seen is a 15-minute shoot. And then I go through and just kind of deal with it later. So I can't even remember this family, but I see their dog right there in the middle. There's a lot of dogs and a lot of kids. And so I don't treat them like a normal client. This is more of like, this is a project that I do have some sort of a vision for. So there's at least one, but the other images, I'm fine with doing what the people who live in the house want to do. So it is still kind of a collaboration, because if you have an idea, let's talk about it. And but we still only have 15 minutes to do it. So it's not like we're going to hang around for an hour and talk about this. Most people that I have, let's say I'm going to go back to where you can just see me. So most people, I show up and they're either like, you just do what you do. We really, what I've found over the course of the last 7 weeks is it's become more important to me than I thought it would be. And it's really important to everyone else just to be seen, I think, in this time, just to be like, they felt like they've been seen. And that's, my wife kind of pointed that out to me. I'm like, you know, I'm going through the motions. I'm just trying to document as much as I can with the time that I have. And, you know, and what I didn't notice was all the connections that are so meaningful for the people that are having their photograph made. And that was something that was like, well, it's not that I was trying to be selfish about it, but I didn't want to see it as like I'm doing something wonderful and great. I'm so wonderful. It was more of, I just want to get it and get out of here and not disturb you. And what I found is like, no, please disturb us. Keep disturbing us. We need a disturbance, you know? And that 15 minutes is also perfect timing for children, because they have short attention spans. And if you can't get it in 15 minutes, you're not going to get it with children or dogs. So, so it fits, you know. Any questions at this point?
Yeah, sure. One person has asked, are you charging a fee for these portraits, or is this part of just the project and collaboration?
Yeah, no, there was never a fee, just because there are so many people that were completely out of work, struggling with trying to get the unemployment. If they were trying to get it, it was difficult. So I did not want it to hinder people signing up just because they thought, well, I can't afford. I mean, a big goal is to try to cross the socioeconomic divide, which is really difficult just because most people that are in a really impoverished area do not trust authority or the system. They definitely don't want to give their name and their phone number, their address, and have a picture made. So that has been probably the toughest divide to really make it a more diverse. I mean, it's a diverse. It's decently diverse when it comes to the imagery, not even close to mimicking what the city's ratio is, but the socioeconomic divide is non-existent. It's definitely not going to places that I've tried connecting with people. But anyway, the short answer is no, it doesn't cost anything. There is a donation thing on the website, but I don't really push that because I don't want people to think that they have to donate. And I really have to talk a lot of people out of it that I know aren't making a lot of money, but they still feel like they want to give something. So, yeah.
How did you start? We got a hand up from Nancy. Did you have another question you wanted to ask, Nancy? Let me see if I can unmute you there. Go ahead. Oh, no.
Okay. Hey. Nancy Hand here. Very cool. I actually saw your work. I don't even know what publication it was, but I posted in the Memphis photography group. And I don't know that you're a member of it, but everybody was talking about it. And I just wanted to know, as a photographer, how's things? How are you making your money during this time? How are you doing?
I have done 2 jobs because all of the photo booth was something that was another project that was not meant to be a business, the America photo booth. 10 years ago, that was just a portrait project that turned into, I want people wanting to rent it for their weddings or parties or anything and everything. So it just kind of went its own direction, and I tried to distance myself if I could, but it's a small town. So all of that ended in April because April's a pretty big month for most people that work any kind of stuff like that. So yeah, all that died. People are donating to this project, so that has helped. And I've done a job for MIFA through this, and also I had a musician that needed stuff done. And there are ways to do it without being close to one another. I've never really had a crew of people that helped me anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. So that made it easy. And you can't really work in the studio, but if you can work outdoors and you can handle whatever time of day it is and deal with it, then you can get some stuff done. So there's been some work like that for sure. But this has really taken most of my time. And I also, Crosstown Arts is amazing. They're still paying all of us. So I don't know how much longer that will last, but I do work for Crosstown Arts, and they are really great about that stuff. So, it's a nonprofit, so it's not like it's a ton of money, but it's still better than nothing.
Thank you. Some other questions that I've seen coming in is, what else? Well, this actually is my question. Where else can we find your work that you did before this photo series? And I'm sure this is not your first go around as far as portraits are concerned.
No. So, I just turned 50 this year, and I have been taking pictures for a living pretty much. The phases of either art or more commercial work over the years. I'm guessing a lot of people are from Memphis, and they're probably familiar with the Memphis Queen Line riverboats. Anybody familiar with the Memphis Queen Line? So from 1989, when I was 19, until 2009, I did the photos for the riverboats. So if you ever rode a riverboat, had your picture made, and either bought it or somebody bought it for you, it was either me or someone that was helping me that took that picture. So that was something that I did in Memphis forever. Even when I didn't live here, I would come back in the summer because it was seasonal, and I would still do that. When it comes to the artwork, that was always separate. I kind of adopted philosophy luckily when I was younger. I went to Memphis College of Art and dropped out pretty quickly, just because I felt it just wasn't for me. I can teach myself what I need to know technically with photography, and eventually went into cultural anthropology. I think people were more interesting to me than the idea of like learning a craft to be an artist. I think it always has just been a coping device, not a coping device, but a way to get through life that works for me, using a camera and using, collaborating and working with people. But before I go in too many circles here, to see my older work, I don't really have a website that has like, here's the history of what I've done, because the social media popped up, and I think that probably the easiest place is Instagram these days. It's very visual, and that's pretty much, dyslexia has made me a visual person. So everything in my life is visual because the words are harder. So the visual is easier. So if you go to Instagram, you can look at 6,000 photos that were all taken from a camera, not from a phone. So that is a good representation of it. Facebook also has, 15 years of photography from me in the form of some family, but also a lot of art stuff and different albums over the years. So there is a website, America.com, AMURICA.com, and then there's QuarantineMemphis.com. And my other one used to be uberphoto.com, but I forgot to pay a bill on that a couple years ago, and it just went away. I still have the domain, but not the actual content was all deleted. It's on hard drives, so it's not an emergency. But those are probably the easiest ways to look back on things.
Just to make sure I get this right, is your Instagram America World? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or America Portrait? Are they both yours?
Well, yeah, those were, because it was like, you felt like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a portrait one. But then I realized quickly, like, I don't have time to manage 4, different Instagrams. So I'm just going to stick with the one. Everything I do in the phases of how you go through it on a timeline, so yeah.
So another question that came out was, in your vision for what you're going to do with this project, do you see it being a book or maybe a show?
Well, I would love to see right now I'm winding down from like fiery documentary mode, because I feel that it's definitely phasing into something else, a more complicated version. I imagine the next 3 months are going to be way tougher than the last 7 weeks for a lot of people that are going to be forced to make a decision to go back to work or be fired. There are people that are going to be like, the government says you can go back, so like they're safe. But so that's going to change this project, just because people aren't going to be home eventually, and I won't be able to do it as much as I'm doing it. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Book or show, I guess.
Oh yeah. So I haven't given it a ton of thought, but when I do, I think, well, I personally am not in the position. I'm not going to be great at like making a book. I have the images, but I would need someone else to come forward and be like, I have the editing. I think there's another component that's needed. I have everyone's information, so everyone I've shot, I would love to send either a questionnaire or a topic choice, and have there, so there's some narrative to be put with the images besides just the images, and that would be nice. But I also think it would be really nice if it was more of a global book. I think there are people doing this all over the world. I mean, I may have been more obsessive about it and have done more in a short period of time, but I think there are probably interesting images of this from at least nationally. It would be nice if there was a book like Quarantine America, where there's any city that had someone shooting it, or people in general could be in that. I think that would be the way to go. And obviously I have enough for a book, but I think it needs more. So that is a thought, but it's not something that I probably am going to do on my own if it even comes up. There will have to be somebody really interested in doing it that I'm agree to work with, something like that.
Thank you. I'm going to look around and see if anybody else have a question ready to go.
I have one. How did CBS Morning News discover you?
You know, they didn't say exactly, but I'm thinking because I'm thinking it was Jesse Davis wrote a story in the Flyer, but he also submitted it to the Bitter Southerner, and he really did a great comprehensive job of not only really having a great conversation with me that made me think about things that I wasn't thinking about because I was just working. And he also interviewed people that I had shot. So he got that other narrative. And then he's great at what he does, and he wrote it and submitted it, and the Bitter Southerner picked it up. And I'm guessing that might have had something to do with it, just because that's another level of a feed that's not the normal news feed, you know. But I really don't know exactly. Anybody else?
One last question.
Sure.
Is what inspired you to start this in the first place?
Well, I thought it was going to be a 2-week project. We were told we were going to shut down until April 1st. So I thought, well, I've got 2 weeks and I need something to do. And I think really what it culminates for me is that everybody was told to stay home. And in the beginning, we all take that real literally. Like, you can't go out. And not all of us. I mean, I was like, well, what are the rules? So I asked myself, well, what are the rules? And I asked my wife, and like, I don't want to step over any boundaries here, but what are the basic rules? Like, can't we talk to somebody in their front yard? Can we, I can't go in their house, and I can't touch any belongings, and they can't touch my belongings. I can't give anyone anything. So once I had the basic rules, then I thought, well, I can easily work with that. And as long as the community is okay with that, and I don't feel like I'm threatening them or causing them to be angry, because that can happen sometimes where people see you doing something they don't think you should do, even if it's perfectly safe. And I was willing to back off, but it would have the opposite effect. So, and I think also if you once you have restrictions, you can really do some creative stuff. If you are giving unrestricted powers, it's almost difficult to think of anything. But if someone tells you, you can't leave this room, and you can't touch a window, and you can't use a pencil, now I need you to make up a story. You know, like, those restrictions can really make you focus on something. And I think it was the idea of the restrictions that made me go, oh, hell no, I'm not going to sit here.
Have you had any unexpected insights into the families you're shooting? Have you seen the response change over time as it's kind of started to drag on?
You know, I think that's probably going to come later. I think I'm still shooting so much every day and talking to people, and it's always the same story. I mean, everyone is like, the teachers are having a rough time getting students to be involved through Zoom meetings and things like this. Younger kids definitely can't do it. The older kids know that it doesn't count, so they're not even showing up. And when it comes to airline pilots and doctors and nurses, and I mean, the medical community that I've photographed, which is, I mean, I would imagine at least 5 or 6 physicians, 2 infectious disease doctors from St. Jude. I can't remember names, of course, at the moment. Tons of nurses and people that run retirement homes and hospice communities, and I mean, all that stuff. And almost all of them have at least within 5 days ago. And she said that Methodist North has an entire, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Methodist North has an entire floor that is nothing but COVID patients, and every respirator is being used right now. And it's like, I don't hear that in the news, but I hear it from a person that works there. You know, and then the next house I went to was another nurse, the husband of a nurse, and he said, my wife's not here because she's I'm not probably going to get the job title wrong, but like the head nurse coordinator for Baptist, and she tested positive and she's quarantining at work because if she comes home, we're going to have to leave. And so it's like that happened, you know, and the doctors all seem to be like, well, this is the new flu. It's here forever. Until we get a vaccine, we're going to have to watch out, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but they don't say it with a panic. They were just like, yeah, man, this is the flu. It's just another version that's going to be around, So no insights, just a lot of information, a lot of 600 15-minute conversations that no one's panicking yet. Everybody feels like we're going to get through this. We cry when we need to. And I think then, and what's really become more apparent to me is like the next couple months are going to be the tough one, because that's when we have to transition of like, some people are going to feel like it's over and they're going to try to shake hands with you. And then you're going to have to be like, whoa, 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 and then feel bad about it,
We're having a hard
I have one
time
last
keeping people
question.
from petting our dog.
The Weinbergs.
Go ahead, Denise.
The Weinbergs, it sort of made me realize how many people have grown children or children coming from college that they invade their household. They haven't been there quite a while. Any observations about how this either one forced communication among generations that had maybe not chatted before, or two, created sort of dynamics that are really difficult for people because they never dreamed that the empty world suddenly has children there.
Yeah, I think I believe I'm taking that for granted right now when it comes to. Like even being asked questions make me realize like, oh, wait a minute, I've been privy to something that a lot of people haven't been, exposed to. Like a lot of people see their neighbors, but they're not no one's doing this, I guess. And that's the whole deal. It's like, I do see that. Today, there were two houses where there was a high school student graduating from high school and a college student that had to come home. And they were okay, but they were like, yep, it's not great. Like we're just dealing with it. We're lucky we have a house to be at, but it's definitely not a fun thing. And the people with special needs kids, those are the ones that seem to be really having a hard time because their children don't understand why and we've heard this on the news, but I've shot several houses where, there's autism and Down syndrome and, Asperger's and any number of spectrum that the children don't understand why this is happening and why can't I walk over to that person and I have to walk over to that person. You don't understand. I have to walk over to that person. So that's got to be really difficult for them. I mean, there was one house that had 7 children, all under 11. So there were, the oldest was 11 and the youngest was 1. And I think I showed up at noon and everyone was still asleep except the mother and the 1-year-old, because they were at the point of, we just have to let the kids play video games all night and sleep half of the day. We don't really feel that we even have a choice because we can't handle it, so that stuff is happening, of course,
Can you say a little bit again about the people with special needs? My computer was unstable.
Oh yeah, sorry. I know. I think it told me I had a bad connection.
That whole part, yeah.
Mainly, it was just that I feel bad for the people with anybody with special needs, because they don't understand the distance. They don't understand why they can't keep their routine, and that's mainly what we would all understand. But seeing it is where you see the children come outside and they have to do their routine, whether it's walk the perimeter of the yard or come over and put their hand on someone. And if they're told, and most of the time the parents are like, I hope you're okay with this. I just want to warn you, but she's going to walk over and touch your leg. And I'm like, that's fine. No, I'm okay with that. I don't have to use that part of my leg to eat with or do anything. So I can, always, it's not like, not everyone has the disease everywhere. We know we can't see it, and I'm cautious, but I don't touch them, and we don't really get any interaction. But so that stuff had happened for sure.
I appreciate that. That's
Yeah,
very
for
sensitive.
sure.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, I just like your approach, the sociological approach.
Oh yeah, I think for most of my adult photography has always been, I see it as more visual anthropology, and that's kind of the approach that I take. I'm not a documentary person because I don't have the necessarily, I can't put the story together as well as to tell that. I need another person to do that. But I understand it. I'm not that good at doing the word part.
Yeah. I'm going to go look up more of your work. I haven't had an opportunity to really look a lot of it up, but I'm definitely going to.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Have you had the opportunity to take any pictures out near Crosstown or North Memphis?
I have been in every area of Shelby County and out of Shelby County, from Hernando to Atoka and Whitehaven and South Haven and Olive Branch, and very rural areas, and a lot of Midtown because I live in Midtown, so I'm close. And but I can't think of an area that I haven't been in. I mean, Fraser and Raleigh and Bartlett and yeah, everywhere. But like I said, there's about 140 unedited images, and a lot of times you don't know where they are. You know, you can tell when you look at the houses, if you see a house, you can tell like, oh, that's not Midtown, or that's, you know, you can kind of tell some of them by the windows, you know.
Huh.
But the spirit's about the same, the people and their attitudes about being quarantined.
Yeah, I think right now I mean, the weather's been so good, that's helped. And I think a lot of people feel that it's going to be okay, right? That's why I'm just now really noticing in myself that I see the unknown in the next 2 months. Like, that's really my concern now. It's like, okay, well, this has been simple. Here are the rules, and here's what you're supposed to do. But in the next 2 months, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Have you made any new friends? Have you met anybody that you plan that you might continue to stay in touch with? It's a lot of people, I know, but have you clicked with anybody like, you know what, let's have beers when this all dies down or whatever?
You know, that's funny because it's for years I've struggled with that word friend and what that really is, because I hardly ever stop moving around. And I have a ton of friends, but I don't have a regular routine of like, I hang out with so-and-so every Tuesday. I've never done that in my life, and I really don't understand that because there's stuff to do. I've got stuff to do. So all of these people, I feel I've befriended in a way. And if I saw them at the grocery store, I might recognize their 3-year-old named Harvey, but I might not remember their names, you know. But if we just talk for a second, it would be like, oh yeah, I remember that and all that stuff. And I can pick up and leave off. But so the short answer is like, no, I don't think my brain works that way. But the broader answer is, man, I feel like I made 600 new friends, you know, and even with you guys, it's like, you know, it's just connecting with people is more of my religion than anything else, I think. So this is feeding me more than anything I could have hoped for to get through the month of April. I mean, it really is.
How long are you going to keep doing it? Do you know? Have you thought about it?
How long will I?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I think that depends on how things shift in the community of like when people are forced to go back. When I am asked to be more involved in Crosstown Arts, depending on what they decide. I'm pretty sure we're staying completely dormant all of May, and then we'll start discussing it in June. And I think there's going to be mistakes made. People are going back to work. I mean, somebody just texted me and said that Cafe Olay's patio was full of people, and nobody was wearing a mask, you know, and that we were steaming over it. And I was like, well, you just have to keep doing what you're doing. And if they want, you know, if it flares up again, we'll know, you know. I don't know. So it's like, this is going to be the tough transition for the next month. So I don't know, you know, I'm going to feel it out when I feel it. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we have a question from Charlotte. Is that correct?
Right. That's it. Jaime, I think that you're not giving yourself enough credit. You have done a phenomenal job. And the photos are great, but what is even greater is the narrative. Give yourself credit because you are amazing.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Bravo.
I will take the compliment and then be quiet. I will be quiet. I appreciate it.
And now you have a whole body of friends, the Midtown Memphis Rotary Club.
Absolutely. Hello.
You'll have to come back.
Yeah, it'd be nice to meet in person.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you,
Come to
Jamie.
our meeting and have a beer with us. How about
Yeah.
that?
Sounds good. Sounds good. No, I know I can ramble on, so I could go all night. But
Another Tuesday.
if anyone has any questions, please text me or email me. Or if they want to talk, it's totally fine. Obviously I can talk.
Jamie, I've got your
You
email.
put your information in the chat?
Yeah, I've put the link in the chat. Is it quarantinememphis.com?
Got it.
And if they want to donate, it's quarantinememphis.com/donate.
Cool.
I put a little donate area in the website, but it's not things you can click on. It's because they're all apps these days. It's just a visual reference. But also my phone number's on there, my email's on there under the contact area. So yeah, anybody that has any other questions, please give me a call.
Got it. I'll put that in the chat and share it with everybody at the meeting tonight. If you don't mind, we'll put a link to this recorded meeting up on our website, and then folks who weren't able to attend tonight can listen in, and they'll have your information as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
We appreciate your time. We really appreciate your perspective and the work you're doing for the city and the citizens of the city. We look forward to watching it develop over time because, like you said, it's going to be a long-running thing that we got to pay attention to.
Yeah, we can't even give you brownies tonight.
I know. Come back. We'll give you brownies. Yeah.
Well, there's been plenty of sweets at the house. I think we're covered, but thank you.
That's good.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you, back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ingrid's here.
Yeah.
Well, where'd she go?
Ingrid's right here, and she's wearing Rotary shirt. So
There
excellent.
she is. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. I am.
There's Joyce shows
There's
up.
Joyce.
Hey, Joyce,
Finally.
good.
I enjoyed the presentation very much. I wish I could have seen me.
But we recorded it, so we're going to put it up on the website. If you want to see it, for you, Ingrid coming in a little bit later, and Joyce also for you. If you want to find it, Denise, I think we can link it to the website. Is that correct?
There's Butch. How's everything down there, Butch?
Say that again one more time, Will. We were all talking at the same time.
Sure. I think we can put this on the website. I've recorded the whole thing.
Yeah, if there is a link, I can add it to and maybe even put it on the front page, the home page. I just recently put something up with a bunch of like a collage of all of our Zoom meeting pictures, and I can embed that in that and say, here's an example of one of our meetings.
Great.
And then somebody can click it and then watch the whole thing.
Great.
Just get it to me by email.
Will do. That's all I got.
Shirley, this is a lesson for your future.
A lesson for my future. Oh, yes. Thank you. I'm listening now. Okay. Great warning. Great warning.
Will, one more
Yeah.
thing. May 21st. Oh, well, you have something for next week, right?
Yes. Thank you. We've got speakers coming up, I think, for the next 3 weeks, right? Next week is the
Right, next 3
Shelby
weeks.
County Humane Society. The following week, the 21st, is going to be the light.
The light, right.
Charlotte, would you elaborate on that? I'm afraid I forget the
The
details.
light's on a different day. It's not on a Tuesday.
Yes, it is. It's on the 19th. But the actual
Tuesday.
voting is the 21st.
Okay, I need to change the website then.
Okay.
Okay.
I could check with her if you wanted me to. If you wanted it to be on the 21st, the day with that Thursday that we actually vote, I could do that. Would that be better?
No, if there's a presentation on Tuesday, that would be better. I just
Right.
didn't quite understand it. Okay.
Right. Yeah, the presentation is the 21st and the meeting is Tuesday, May 19th.
Okay.
And what we will actually do is after that, we will vote. So this is a presentation.
On the other night.
Right. For the 21st. We worked with them before.
Right.
A few months ago. So this is a repeat. They wanted to partner with us because they needed a professional group to assess and help the students with their presentations.
Gotcha. Okay. And Will, the thing about the Humane Society, I know that had been talked about, but it's confirmed.
Yes.
Do you have the name of the speaker and other things? Can you send me more details?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Because I want to get it up on the website if I can.
Sure.
And
Okay,
then
May
also we'll need to
26th.
get formally.
May 26th, we will have Archie Moss. I think Pam probably knows him. The principal and, well, Pam and Carl, the principal at Bruce Elementary.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he's
We've met him. We don't know him really, but
okay.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he'll be here on the 26th. He has a TED talk, so we can send out the links and all of that later. And he's been featured on different news shows and everything.
Really? Oh, good. Okay.
Right. And Bruce is interested. Well, actually, Jen and I had
Okay,
sort of
good.
connected with them earlier about us maybe partnering with them
I'm
too.
losing
Because,
everybody's voice.
right. And 10% of the children at Bruce are actually homeless.
Oh,
So where Jen and I were trying to figure out what kind of supplies, it kind of got to be, well, not really supplies, but uniforms.
okay.
So he'll be speaking to us on the 26th.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Char, if you'll check the website, make sure I have it accurate, already have it up for the 26th.
Okay. Great.
And
Oh,
I've
wow.
got the WMC TV video thing about
Great.
him.
Okay. Yeah, because actually we chose him for the Sparks Award.
Yeah.
Our group, right?
Ta-ta.
Thank you, Denise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlotte. Any other news for the club?
No, it's nice to get those leads of what's coming up in the future too, so we can include other people that we might know and invite them in advance. Yeah, to Zoom in.
Yeah, we had a guest tonight that I didn't recognize, Burmeister or some other long name. And yeah, I don't know who it was, but
That's so big.
I never
maybe as a
seen-
guest of one of us.
Okay.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Huh.
Out of guess.
But Joyce, it's really good to see your face after so much time has gone by. You look great.
Well, thank you. You all look great. It's good to see you. I hope
Yeah.
to see you in person, and I enjoyed the presentation. I wish I could have seen his display.
You
But
go look at them on Instagram. They're awesome. They're really, really cool.
really,
You can get
Okay.
lost in those pictures for real.
okay.
Huh.
Well, I hope to see you in person very soon, but not until
Love
this
it.
virus is
Yeah.
over.
Right.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Soon, but not too
Anyway, hi,
soon.
Susan.
Hey, how are you?
We love you, Joyce.
We love you too. Hi, Denise. Hi.
Okay,
And
Bye,
I
guys.
gotta go.
Okay.
And Ingrid,
Bye.
everything's
Leave.
okay,
It's good to
Ingrid?
see y'all.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you. I have a delay because of the babies. It's the
I like that
magic
shirt
of
you're
my life.
wearing.
Oh, thank you. That's one of my first Rotary shirts, or it's a pretty worn.
Good. It looks comfy.
That is pretty busy here, and so I have to get muted because there are kids everywhere.
Oh, okay.
I let you go. I miss y'all.
Okay, we miss you too. It's great to see you. Bye.
bye-bye.
Butch, you and Amy doing all right? Oh, hold on. I said,
Florida.
you're still in Florida, right? You're still in Florida? I can hear you. I think you're.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was afraid I was on mute. Yeah, we're down in Florida, still doing well. Amy's mom is doing great.
Good.
Good, good.
Yeah, so we're good. I've been outside working. I've still got my sunglasses on.
I approve, as you know.
It's good to see everybody.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah,
Yes,
you guys take care. Be safe.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Good night.
Night.
Well, Joyce, I'm glad you sorted it out. Do you think you're set for next week?
I think so, but it took me, I don't even know how I did it. I just kept clicking. And finally, they
It worked. Well, the link will be the same for next week. So you should have the same email, but if you need anything, I've sent you that email and you can contact me at that same email if you need it. All right.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
That's great.
Good to see you guys, and I
Thank
hope
you. Thank you.
next
Hope so.
Thursday. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
And probably back at our regular time, 5:30,
Yeah,
right? Denise?
5:30 next time.
5:30.
Okay.
5:30.
And I will call you, Pan. I got something to you.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Joyce. And Denise, I'm going to send you an email with the participant list and the information for next week's speaker. I just have her
Super.
name and
Thank you.
title.
All righty. Sounds good.
All
That's
right.
great. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Bye, Pan. Charlotte, I think it's you and me. You're gone. Okay, good. Good night.